And I come to, lying on the floor, with Big Jim leaning over me, kneeling over me, tears running down his face, saying, "Oh, thank God I haven't killed you." Do you know what a blessing it was to look up into that big face and smile?
Welcome to A Word on Westerns, where today we are honored to have one of the terrific leading ladies of the genre. She's done many other things, but today she's going to be talking about her Westerns, Miss Ruta Lee. Hello, dear. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you. Delighted to be here. What a wonderful experience this is to be at the Autry Museum and in this delicious theater that everybody should play at least once.
Well, it's a great spot to be in and to talk about Westerns. We're very lucky. We think the Autry Museum and location is where these stories should be told and documented. And as you know, we do preserve them, and they're on YouTube. So it's a good thing you're looking so fabulous today.
Well, thank you. That's always good to hear. I keep saying I look exactly the same as I did 30 years ago. It just takes me 2 hours longer.
And you look fabulous.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about Westerns, but I do want to hear about your experience. I know you were just a high school girl in the story on The Adventures of Superman.
I almost got kicked out of the business because what did I know about unions and that you don't cross over or touch anything? And I was supposed to jitterbug with some kid. We were kids at the time. And I thought, well, why don't we rehearse during lunch hour? And I thought, okay, there's the record player, which is what we had in those days, and it's not plugged in, so I'll plug it in. And some electrician grabbed me on the shoulder, yanked me back, and said, "Little lady, you want to stay in the business? You don't do that." Mm-hmm. I learned then and there that everybody has their place, mm-hmm. and you better stay out of it.
It's nice to know that right at the beginning, too.
Yeah.
So what was it like on the set? Was George Reeves and Noel? Did you?
Noel was adorable, and the lovely guy that played
Jack Larson.
Jack Larson.
Jimmy Olsen
was the same all through life. Jack Larson mm-hmm. was Jimmy Olsen, and Jimmy Olsen was Jack Larson, and that just went on. And what a delicious, lovely young man mm-hmm. he was. I didn't get to know Superman at all. I mean, he walked on the set, he walked off, and I didn't know. Noel was adorable and sweet, but I was a new young kid that didn't know shit from Shinola, as we say in the Westerns, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. But you made your first appearance, according to IMDb, in the Roy Rogers Show. Is that a fact?
Do you know that I don't think that's a fact? I think IMDb lies and dies.
Well, we're going to straighten them out.
Yeah, I don't ever remember doing the Roy Rogers Show, and I would have remembered that because he was my hero. Mm-hmm. I just thought that was the greatest thing that ever happened. And I'd like to take this opportunity, if I might, to say that thank God for Westerns, because mm-hmm. I think the Western movies that were played all over the world, in every corner of the world, are what introduced us as really neat, nifty Americans to the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I think that Westerns really depict what the spirit and the soul of a true Americana is all about. And so I just say thank you, God, for the privilege of working with the people that let that be taught to the rest of the world.
Well, when good guys were really good guys, and like you said, it did impact how the rest of the world thought about us, because when they came, they wanted to see where the Indians were, and they thought everybody was wearing guns. Well, I guess they are wearing guns again today. But.
and I'm going to keep wearing mine. I don't know about you all, but I sure am.
Well, you went from being a high school dancer in Superman to one of the great dancers in a wonderful Western musical, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Whoa, was that it?
That's quite a jump.
That was my very first movie. And of course, those were the days, folks, when we worked 6 days a week, not 5 days a week. And what a thrill it was to be in that. And of course, everybody had to dance. And Michael Kidd was the choreographer, one of the best of Broadway and the best of MGM. And I came into the audition. I was all of 16 years old, you know, and I thought, okay, I'm a bit of a ballet dancer because I learned a little bit of that, so I did some of that. And then they said, could you do a little bit of jazz? And I said, well, yeah, I can do a little bit of sort of jazz. And then they said, can you do something folksy? Well, hell, I'm Lithuanian. And what else? I mean, that's even a better polka than a Polish polka. So I let them have it with the polka. It got me the job.
Well, that was a huge MGM production, actually, toward the end of the era of great Hollywood musicals,
You know, the big money at MGM, folks, wasn't put into Seven Brides. This was done on a teeny tiny MGM budget. The money all went into something called Brigadoon, with great stars, you know, Van Johnson and Gene Kelly and Sid Charisse. And all the big money went into that. And all of a sudden at the studio, I think they woke up to the fact that they had a sleeper on their hands here. I mean, some of the best dancers in America were in this. The choreography was positively brilliant. They had all these girls, and they came around and said, look, we're going to divvy up the United States, and we're going to send all of the girls out on a PR tour to publicize this picture. So I got from the Great Divide West, and then after that it went so well that they gave me all of Canada. And the Great Divide West, I was milking cows. I was standing in a bathing suit in Salt Lake City under an umbrella during a rainstorm. I was chewing tobacco with the baseball players. Anything that makes a headline, you know, that puts you on the front pages. And finally, before I went out on the tour, the MGM people came to me and said, listen, you can never be a star with a name like Ruta Kilmonis. That's my Lithuanian name. I said, oh, okay, what do we change it to? So we kicked around a lot of names, and they said, what about Ruta Lee? And I thought, ooh, Rutele is the diminutive in Lithuanian, in Russian, in Polish, in Yiddish of Ruta. And so Ruta Lee, Rutele, okay, fine. So I'm all over the country as Ruta Lee, Ruta Lee, Ruta Lee, doing all of this stuff. We come back, and eventually the picture is released, and I go to the premiere. Some schmuck has forgotten to change the credits, and it came out Ruta Kilmonis. Now, you know all those people in Ames, Iowa are saying, who was that girl that was here? Saying she, but it all worked to my benefit, because when I got to Lithuania, the story, which is very, very long, when I got permission after my drunken phone call to Khrushchev to get into Lithuania, because nobody could go into Lithuania unless you were a high-ranking party member in those days. Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Poland, all of those were satellites of the USSR, right? And so I got permission to go in. They were so proud of the fact that I kept my Lithuanian name for my first movie. So thank you, Jesus.
Well, it was a big sleeper hit, and from there you went to do one of the best westerns of all time, Gunsmoke. You did a couple of episodes of Gunsmoke.
I sure did, and I will never forget the one. Oh, God, Rob, this was so fun. I was playing a marvelous little tart They're always fun to play, the hookers, you know. And I was trying to seduce the sheriff, and I was in Miss Kitty's establishment and parked in a bed somewhere, you know, in my little room, and they didn't have doors. They had curtains covering this cubby hole that was my bedroom. And somehow I got the sheriff to come in.
The marshal.
To the marshal. Excuse me. Yes,
wow.
the marshal. I've demoted him to come in. And of course, I'm sitting in this lovely little bed, and the slip strap has dropped down, you know, and I'm being very coy. And I get him to come over to the bed, and he throws the quilt over my head, slings me over his shoulder. Going out the door, he pulls the curtain, thereby slamming my head against the frame of the door, and out I go like a light. And I come to, lying on the floor, with Big Jim leaning over me, kneeling over me, tears running down his face, saying, "Oh, thank God I haven't killed you." Do you know what a blessing it was to look up into that big face and smile and say, "Kiss me, make it better."
Where was Doc Adams all this time?
Who the hell cares?
Well, that was a great set and a good show. And
What a wonderful
And you played
show.
another episode, too. Were you a tart in that one as well?
Do you know, I don't think I was. I think I was a nice girl in that one. And nice girls are so boring.
Well, speaking of, I don't know if it was a tart, but it wasn't quite a nice girl. In Maverick, where you pull a gun on James Garner.
Jimmy Garner was just one of the dearest, most wonderful people in this world, and what a pleasure to work with him. Well, all the Mavericks were fun, let's put it that way.
You were a tart.
Help me, everybody. What is the actor's name? Tall, lean, he was legs diamond, he was married to Julie Adams.
Ray
Danton. I couldn't think of his name to save my soul. Ray Danton was a guest on Maverick. And Jimmy Garner, and Ray Danton had developed a bit of a character flaw, we could call it. He was known to be a little bit difficult on the set, right? And Jimmy Garner, during one of the scenes, said to him, "What in hell, Ray, makes you act like such a shit?" And Ray said, "I don't want anybody to say I've changed when I become a star." Which I thought was one of the great lines of all time.
Well, I don't think he ever changed, and he became a bigger director, I think, than a
Yes,
star.
I think so. And,
Yes.
and he was marvelous at what he did. He was very, very good. I just recently watched Legs Diamond again, and wow, he was good.
Yeah, I think Bud Bedecker directed that. didn't he?
Yes. His wife, Karen Steele, I think, was one of the leading ladies who did a lot of Westerns, too. There were four of us, I can't remember who now, who were on the cover of TV Guide, which was awfully nice, as kind of the ladies of the Westerns, you know, and that was a great honor. I have that on the wall.
That's nice. Well, some of the other Westerns that you've done was Shotgun Slade with Scott Brady.
Oh, yes. Gee, I'm glad you reminded me of that. I've done so many of them. I've done over 2,000 television shows, and they all kind of start to run together. Lord knows we shot a lot in Griffith Park and that canyon, Bronson Canyon. Wow. I mean, going way out past San Fernando Valley, we used to have a shot and a visa to go out there. Now,
Did you ever film in? Did you ever shoot in Lone Pine?
oh, sure.
Oh, what'd you film
Sure.
there?
Oh, I can't remember. You're going to have to tell me. I did shoot 2 movies. One of them, of course, being thinking of Barbara Luna, working with Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis and Peter Lawford and the whole gang. on Sergeant's 3, which was shot up in Kanab, Utah.
A beautiful
one of the
location.
Prettiest places ever. And then I did Bullet for a Bad Man up
With
in
Audie
that area.
Murphy.
Audie Murphy, God rest his soul.
So let's talk about the Rat Pack for a minute,
Yeah,
because
let's.
they were, that was a party group,
Yeah.
you know? I would think you would fit right in with them.
I fit right in with them, and then when things got a little bawdy, Frank would look up and say, "All right, Sammy, walk her home." And I would miss all the fun that they were having with the booze and the hookers from Vegas and all of that good stuff that I didn't get to participate in. But, and unfortunately, they all treated me like their kid sister. And you know, if I had had affairs with all those guys, think of the books I could have written. Wow, I regret that. And you know, the nice part is I have 3 stars, one on Hollywood Boulevard, one in Palm Springs, and one in front of the Thalians Mental Health Center at Cedars-Sinai. But the best part is, I have a hitching post in Kanab, Utah. You know, instead of stars, they give you those fabulous hitching posts.
That's a great location. And you mentioned Audie Murphy and Bullet for a Bad Man,
Yes.
too. And Darren McGavin.
Oh, my dear, one of my dearest friends in the world, Darren McGavin. This is a funny story. They were good friends. He and his first wife were really good chums of mine. I did his series before, Riverboat and all of that stuff. And he called me one day and he said, "Roots, Melanie and I were down in Palm Springs, and I bought a little house in a place called the Racket Club Tract. It's across the street from the Racket Club. It's really cute. And I liked it so much that I went ahead without your permission and I made a down payment on one for you." I mean, I was lucky if I was getting $350 a week, you know. Big money, $700 a week at Warner Brothers. And I thought, how the hell am I going to pay for this? And I went down and looked at the house, and thank God I had mother and father that said, believed in real estate. Didn't believe in diamonds, believed in real estate. Said, buy it. If you run into trouble, we'll help out, you know. And so and then Darren would come over and help my father put the automatic sprinkling system in. He was one of those people that could do it all, which was just amazing. So wherever you are, Darren, God bless you.
I want to thank Ruta for being our guest today. And before everybody leaves, if I could have the other interviewees up here, we'll take a group photo and then break for lunch, if that's good.
Absolutely, and I thank you.
Wow, was that fun for you? It was fun for me. We had a great time today, and we look forward to seeing you on our next A Word on Western. So in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, share this with your friends, and leave us a comment. We will see you soon.